What is going on, YouTube? I have this stack of wood right here in front of me, and we are going to try and make a few $1,000s this spring and summer season. Tag along with me and I'll show you exactly how we do it. My name's Andy, this is Cedar River Woodworking, and welcome to the shop.
I live inside my own.
All right, like I said, we have a stack of wood right here in front of me, and we have some big plans with all of this wood. Now, you might be able to see all the fence pickets right here, and you know what that means. It's planter season, baby. So I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. Let's head over to our first planter this season.
So this first planter that we will be making is a 48 by 24 inch planter. This planter will stand about 16 inches tall at its highest point. Now, if you are new around here, please consider subscribing. We do videos just like this one where we are building planters or holiday decorations and all kinds of other DIY projects. So if that's something that you're into and maybe making some extra money this season, please consider subscribing. So this first cut that we're going to do is we actually cut the end off of the board to get all of the rough end off and make sure that we have a nice square end. Then we are going to take 4 pickets and we're going to cut them to 48 inches. Now I am using a stop block for this, so I make sure that I'm getting exactly the same cut on every single one of these boards. Now, once I have those 48 inch pieces cut, I will go ahead and measure 23 inches on the remaining pieces there. I'm also going to be using a stop block for that because I will be needing to make a bunch of cuts for this.
We don't like scrap around here, so this is all that you're gonna have left of those 4 boards.
Once I have the 4 pieces cut out at 23 inches, I'm gonna go ahead and use about another 2.5 pickets and cut 8 more 23 inch pieces. Now you can see that I have a decent sized piece left over, and we're going to take that over to our table saw. Now we're going to go ahead and set our table saw to 1 3/4 inch. After we have the blade set to the correct height, we're going to go ahead and rip that piece to that 1 3/4 inch, and then we also need 1 more picket, and this is going to be our 8th and final picket. We are going to rip that to 1 3/4 inches as well.
So now that we have all of those ripped to 1 3/4 inches, I have all of these sections here, and one of the long sections I'm just going to set off to the side. Now what we need to do is we need to cut the legs out of these. So these legs are going to be 16 inches in length. I have a stop block set up here. You're going to consume all of these 3 shorter pieces, 1 full length of this longer piece here, and you're going to have a small chunk out of this longer length. Now, the scrap that you're going to have from the longer length and this piece that we set off to the side, we have something special for those, so make sure you stick around. We need 8 total pieces at 16 inches. So now that we have all of those cut out, I did want to have one piece of recommendation. So here is a piece with the dog ear on it. You want to make sure that when you're feeding it into the saw, that the dog ear is the last thing that gets cut off. We do not want any of these dog ears on our feet. So this is a piece of scrap, it's just going to get thrown away. Now these 2 oddball pieces that we have left over, these we are going to cut to 46 inches. Remember, this has a special feature to it, so make sure you stick around so you see what it is. So here we are with all of our parts cut out. Now, I'm going to list all of these off, and we are going to start off with the full width pieces. Remember, full width is 5.5 inches wide. So we have 4 pieces at 48 inches. And then we have 12 pieces at 23 inches. Now, for the pieces that are ripped to 1 3/4 inches, we have 8 pieces that are 16 inches long, and then we have 2 pieces that are 46 inches long. Now, let's get this thing assembled. Now, for this entire process, I will be using 1 inch 18 gauge brad nails. These are just regular brad nails. They don't need to be anything fancy like stainless steel or galvanized or any of that other stuff. and we're going to be using Titebond 3 wood glue. Titebond 3 is going to be waterproof. If you use Titebond 2, it is water resistant. So I would make sure that you are using Titebond 3 for any outdoor projects. I'm going to be using this Linknall battery operated brad nailer. If you haven't seen this yet, check out my 3-tier planter and I have an entire review on this thing. So how we are going to assemble this is we are going to set 2 of the 48-inch pieces next to each other. Once we have 2 48-inch pieces nestled next to each other, we are going to secure 2 16-inch pieces on the end of it. I'm just using some Titebond 3 wood glue, and then I'm going to use 2 brad nails per each picket. So this process is going to make 2 of our long sides. Now what we need to do is we need to take another 16-inch piece and we need to put it at a 90-degree angle to the other 16-inch piece. This is going to make what kind of looks like an L bracket, and it's going to give us a nice ledge that we can put our 23-inch pieces against. Once we have our L's established, we are going to go ahead and secure 2 boards that are the 23-inch long on one end, and then we're going to go ahead and flip it over and do it on the other end. Here is where those boards with a special feature on them. These are going to be ledger boards. What these are going to do is going to support the floor of our planter. So we're going to set these inside of here at the very bottom, and we're going to glue and secure those in place. Now, once those ledgers, or cleats if you want to call them that, are in place, we are going to go ahead and put 8 of these full width 23-inch long pieces across the bottom. I'm going to space these about 1/2 inch apart from each other, and that will give us ample draining. Now this is going to be lined with gardening fabric, so these spaces, we don't really have to worry about any type of soil falling out of it. Well, here is the final project. This thing is a really big planter. You can fit a lot of stuff in here. And like I said, after this, I will be lining this with some gardening fabric, so that way the soil isn't going to leak out or have any issues there. Now, there is one more thing that I would probably recommend, and that is using some braces. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, let me know down in the comment section below by saying braces. These are 8-inch pieces, and what that is going to do is going to help these boards stop flexing independently of each other. Now, the ones that you're going to really need them on are these 48-inch pieces, but I did cut 4 of them out of the scraps that we have left over. Remember, I'm not a big fan of scraps, so anything that we can use to kind of help everything out here and be as efficient as possible, that is something that I like to do. So I'm just going to put 1 on each end here and then 2 in the center here, and that's really going to stiffen up these sideboards. Also, if you're having issues with some wiggling or wobbling, once you get these baseboards in, it will stiffen everything up very, very well. Now, you may be wondering, is this strong enough for the amount of soil that I'm going to put in here? There's only about 8 inches of soil height here, 8 to 9 inches, and that is not going to be as much weight as this thing can hold. I mean, this thing, I can stand it and it'll be perfectly fine. Make sure you get those braces in there, and if you really wanted to, you could trim this thing out by cutting another 1 3/4 inch piece and then mitering the ends. Now, this is something that you could do to make it a little bit more professional and maybe stand out from the rest of the crowd, but these planters have been selling for me for years, so I would just leave it how it is. Anyways, if you have any questions, let me know down in the comment section below. For now, my name is Andy. This has been Cedar River Woodworking, and I'll see you in the next video.